And on that point of the time horizon, I mean, we've talked about a lot of things, whether it's boosting the supply chain, hiring folks in some of these facilities and so forth. What does the time horizon look like overall for the country to kind of get on a better posture when it comes to semiconductors? It seems like it could be years off, even though some of the threats that we've discussed in the national security context are right in front of us.
Well, it will be years off before these manufacturing facilities go fully online. It'll be years off before the companies decide whether they actually make money off of these new facilities. Um, but as I said, if we hadn't done this legislation, if this was not the law of the land, the one thing I could say unequivocally, none of these facilities would be built in America because it is cheaper to build in Asia. There are other countries, for example, where we are price competitive, like with Europeans. They are making every country in Europe, even with countries with further left politics than ours, are making these kind of investments to try to attract these facilities and everything along the supply chain. This is a global competition. And I guess, Tony, my feeling is we need to get this right, and we need to be able to answer the concerns of Senator Sanders and others on the right who've been critical. But getting it right from a taxpayer standpoint, from a national security standpoint, and a job standpoint, implementing chips is going to be as important as getting it passed. But I do believe there will be other technology areas, particularly with our competition with China. We're going to have to make other type of national investments to stay competitive. I know my committee right now, the Intelligence Committee, which by default has kind of become the Technology Committee, we're looking at the whole realm of synthetic biology, the ability to grow new drugs or grow new chemicals, or frankly, dramatically modify how we make medicines. That is a huge opportunity area. China is investing at a level greater than ours. We may need to make sure we maintain our lead there. That is a national security issue. Advanced energy, from fusion, frankly, to electric batteries. We've seen the exit of our solar industry. I'm not sure we can fully appreciate the idea of the value of a Tesla here in this country if we don't also realize, well, if that battery is made in China, that electric vehicle battery is made in China with coal-driven energy creating that battery, then that carbon footprint of that Tesla becomes not as great as advertised. So we've got to look at those advanced energy supply chains as well. And we may need investments in those areas as well, both from a national security standpoint and from a technology competition standpoint. Because what we've seen, and I will circle back, I know we're running out of time, to Huawei and 5G, when we let China dominated a domain, as they did with 5G and Huawei. And it took a while to prove the point that that was a national security risk. If your phone call from St. Louis to LA is routed through China and that potential data could be scraped off, that's a concern that goes beyond just the cost of the equipment of who ought to be installing 5G technology. I think this is the competition of the 21st century. A lot of focus right now on Russia, appropriately, but the long-term competition with China on technology is where I think we're going to have to keep our eye first and foremost.